Job done done. That's cool. All right, cool. All right, great. The job done done. The goal is get this to a unicorn status, to be a top five social media platform within 3 to 5 years, and to make Fanchize a household name. So we got a long way to go.
All right, Jeff, we are live. This is going to be another episode of the Constant Sports Podcast, and we have an exciting guest today, Fanchize founder and CEO Jeff Holland. Thanks for joining us today, Jeff.
How you doing? How you doing today?
Good, good, good. Yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun conversation around the future of fan engagement, loyalty, fan ownership, you could say, tech. What am I missing?
Yes.
What am I missing, Jeff?
Man, spent fantasy sports, college sports, NIL.
All the good stuff, all the hot topics starting off today. So, before we get down to business, Jeff, I guess there originally, obviously, with all the companies and businesses, there's a quote unquote problem and or something that people are trying to accomplish or fix. So, setting out, what did you see in the space that you said, okay, I need to get this company franchise off the ground and solve a problem?
What I saw is when teams win and the fans support it throughout the whole year, investing emotion, time, money, and energy. And then after the season's over with, it either feels like an epic success because your team won the whole thing, or an epic failure. If it's an epic failure, it's like, okay, well, rinse and repeat. See you next year. If you it's an epic win, then it lasts temporarily. And I'm like, well, the return on investment, the return on value is just not there. I feel like loyalty without us, the fans, teams, leagues, brands don't exist. The problem I saw was that it was true rewarding of loyalty. These people, they would root for a team all their life, die hard Laker, die hard Dodger, die hard Celtic, and get nothing for it. So I'm like, dude, this is not right. Let's change it. And more importantly, I feel like when your team in the division or even go to the Super Bowl or World Series, that's still a really good win. That's still an accomplishment that should be remembered and be, tracked. So, that's what Panther trying to solve, is enhancing the fan experience while rewarding it at the same time.
I love it. And it's kind of as the website, and as we'll get into it a little bit too about franchise, it's fans are the audience, then they're kind of participants, but now, fans could be an asset too for the teams and leagues
Yes.
and for your company as well. And so what do you think it is about kind of the engagement part that, maybe teams and brands still don't understand or that they misuse in the space right now?
Well, there's a lot of like just, assumption of fanship, right? Like, hey, we exist, we're in your city, root for us. We make all the money, we get all the rewards, we get all the glory, you fund it, and it's because we're in your city.
Yeah.
So that's one of the aspects. Number two is that it really makes sense to really foster the fan experience to another level. That's why we created the understanding that a lot of teams, they get their data from just, oh, he bought a ticket, he bought a hat, he bought a jersey. So their data that they think they know their fan really isn't there, because I've had people, I by myself bought charter tickets because to see the Niners. I went to Clipper games. I'm not fans of them, but because of that data, they think I am, right. They think they know me. Oh, I know this. I know the Charger fan base. He lives in LA. No, I hate the Chargers, but I would never root for Clippers, but they think that. So with us, it's kind of like we're gonna draw a line in the sand and declare who you root for. And you're not forced to root for them all your life. If you're not happy with the direction of the ownership, the management, the coaching, the players, hey, you can choose an organization that you want to really, be attached to. No more forced or implied loyalty. Is going to be now earned.
Yeah, I love it. And well, speaking to the data behind it, a lot of the kind of third party, Ticketmaster, these guys, they keep a lot of that data, and so the
Mm.
teams don't even get access to the data or know who the tickets are being, back and forth to. So just speaking of that, that it's they don't actually know kind of where their fans are for most of the time if they're using those platforms.
No, not at all.
It's great, great. So as you guys have been building and scaling, talk to us more on the business entrepreneur side. How long has this been in the works? Where you're at, the growth of the team, next steps, types of things.
Yeah, I've had this vision for quite some time. We opened the doors February of this year, and in that almost 12-month calendar, We have scaled this app. We currently have a $58 million valuation that was done back in September. We are currently in our middle of our seed capital raise. I bootstrapped everything, so we're technically at the very end of development. So we should be going to market in the next month and a half to 2 months. And we add on some really high level in-house software engineers. Our development team is really good. They were award winning. They developed the rental car company apps for Avis Enterprise, Audi, the grocery chain, World Soccer, coincidentally, and even WebMD. So like they have some enterprise level scalability in their technologies. But are a entity of their own. So what we did was, you know what, let's just now internally build our team with the guidance of our senior advisor Ed and Calvin Wong, who created Black Planet and Asian Avenue and Coupon.com, kind of like the godfather of social media. You know, we say, you know, let's build our software team internally, and we got some really big time players that's just jumped on board and ready to rock and roll for this next phase of development.
I love it. So as you guys continue to build and scale, what maybe is different from other kind of points-based loyalty programs, you could call them, compared to franchise?
Well, there's two main things. The three, but it's two main ones. The first one's kind of like, okay, well, is the fan signs a contract to be an official fan of their sport and another team, and that can be 1 to 7 years. In term of doing that, though, they will be given a fan score, which is kind of one of the things that no one has. Our fan score is an algorithm point system that's mirroring the FICO system, so it really is going to measure the loyalty of the fan and not just of that one team, but all the contracts they tend to end up getting. So they have a basketball, football, baseball contract. The fanship will be measured between all three of the sports combined, and you can't just buy your way. If you're just somebody who always buy jerseys and go to games, you're not gonna have an 850 fan score. If you want spam engagement and surveys and polls, you're not gonna win. You know, you're not gonna have a high fan score. You have to be a very balanced hybrid fan to really have a high end thing. And number three, is our franchise verified network. So what happened is we're creating real world incentives and perks. So what happened is a fan signs a contract, that contract will trigger discounts off of apparel, ticket sales, and merch. But where would the contract be enforceable? So we created real world partnerships. So we have sports bars, about 75 expanding across the globe. That's scaling as we speak. We have over 300 sports apparel stores and hat stores that's honoring the franchise contract. So they're entering into the franchise verified network. So if they're selling mentioned sports memorabilia, jerseys, hats, tickets, whatever they're doing, they join the network. In turn, we give them free exposure, free marketing, and then our app guides them and kind of like encourages them to stay within that franchise verified network because now they can use their contracts and those contracts will be applied. So now it's like I'm creating like a kind of like a unionized network of vendors. There's on the contract, and it's kind of like, hey, you know what? We'll be part of the franchise network. We're a real fan spot. So we're kind of like the BBB of fandom now.
Okay, got it. Exciting. And you said it February is kind of when you're launching,
Between
or?
end of February and end of March.
Okay, I gotcha. So we'll obviously be on the lookout, and so I guess as you've been crafting this vision into reality, a lot of entrepreneurs, maybe on similar journeys or kind of building their own businesses. What were some early surprises, or maybe pitfalls that you weren't expecting that came about from this journey?
I mean, I would say the cost that it takes and the time that it takes, right? The cost, if you have the cost, prepare for the time. If you have the time, prepare for the cost. You know, they go hand in hand. You know, it's like really like every time you think you're done, oh, gotta do this, gotta do that. Every time you think everything's paid for, nope, you gotta pay for this, gotta pay for that. So it's like, you just have to be prepared. It's a long journey. Don't force it. Allow it to be organically done because whatever is meant for you will be for you.
I love it. I love it. And speak to the time aspect. What really goes into kind of being a founder and a CEO in a company?
Time wise goes, man, I probably wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning because my CMO's in New York, right? And then we have meetings in Germany, Switzerland, and all parts of the world. So I'm probably not done with my day till like 1 a.m. So,
Well, you
so I
get,
get like about 5 hours of sleep if I'm lucky.
international time zones is always difficult, especially
Hmm.
with working and scaling a company like that. But have
Yep.
there been certain markets that you kind of have your eye on that you're maybe underserved or undervalued in the sports sector?
And you know what? I like what Africa's doing. They have a lot of different like like engagement with their fans, but just not enough exposure. So I feel like a lot of leagues in Africa is a good market. Portugal as well, La Liga, we're talking to them. Some stuff in Spain as well, Barcelona, Madrid. So like, things are cooking internationally. But where focus was, we was thinking about just being just super global, go country, go to every country, every state. And so you know what? Instead of us trying to dominate every sport, every country, let's just focus on our country and the three major sports. So when we launch, it's going to be focused on basketball, football, baseball,
Okay.
and it's going to be here in the States. And that's going to be what we're targeting and focus on. As time progresses, we're going to expand to different countries and obviously different sports. So the goal is to just dominate the global sports here and then ultimately go nationally, internationally.
Understood. And especially in the states, right? Football is king. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that's one of your major targets there.
Yeah, definitely. NFL, NBA, MLB are three of the things, because baseball really is picking up again too. Tiny and the Dodgers, they definitely like revitalized baseball. So that's like that market's going to be pretty huge going forward. Football too, with their parity, every team, every year is a different winner. NBA is, I feel like they need us the most. I feel like a lot of like viewership and interest is waning and dying down a little bit. So I feel like NBA can definitely utilize our network and our platform because we can, revigorate that platform, that interest in that sport.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of the times it's a kind of a fresh blood in this, a
Yes.
new face in the space makes things a lot easier to kind of get into those barriers. But what's it been like, like you said, being a new face in the space as far as approaching brands or teams or investors?
It's like their first question is, well, why can't we do this ourselves, right? And then I tell them because you will build in a box and it will be only to your fans. If you are a baseball team and your team is the Dodgers, or if you're MLB, your box is either Dodgers or MLB, but you would never understand that Niner fan is also a Dodger fan, and that Niner fan wants to be attached to the Dodger contracts, and now you understand. Now you have double dynamic, right? So you can't do that. And then they ask, well, why can't like a big player like EA Sports or Fanatics do it? Well, because they created their brand in such a niche market that to go social media, to go like true like organic social media, just be too much of a segue. So like we really create a moat where we enter market, we're just rare. And then they always ask us, or say more so stays, that I can't believe this platform doesn't already exist.
Yeah, that's always a good question.
Yeah. And I like, I say, we're just fortunate to be the first to market, and hopefully, when we do go to market, the interest will catch on, and the understanding of it will catch on, more importantly.
For sure. And like I said, coming out here in a month or two. And as I guess I always like to ask people on kind of the tech side, especially sports tech, where you think AI, data, streaming, where you think you think that's going to converge? You think we're all going to, be
Yeah.
bots here shortly?
Yeah, AI is definitely taking over. I think that there should be some laws passed in it just to like not bring down the technology, but to kind of like give it parameters, right? To keep it healthy, to keep it positive. Any form of tool can be used in both good and bad. So, that's how I look at any technology. Like, hey, just, be mindful, be respectful, and be aware of the loopholes within AI. But I think AI is definitely a game changer. It definitely allows people to accelerate ideas and concepts well past than what they used to.
For sure, yeah. Especially people using it in their everyday lives and their businesses. And like you said, I agree with that as well. And as going forward, we're going to continue predicting the future. What's a fan behavior or trend you think is either overvalued or undervalued in the space?
Loyalty is undervalued. I think that these teams, leagues, and brands are really underestimating the power of fandom. When we do launch, we do put more power in the hands of the fans, where they're drawing their line in the sand and say, "Hey, we are Coke." I believe that in the future, there's gonna people be walking into to restaurants, ordering a Coke, and the waiter says, "Sorry, we only have Pepsi," and the fans say, "Sorry, I can't drink that. I'm signing Coke." So we're really gonna allow people to really take control of their loyalty and then monetize it in a way that's never been before.
I love it. I love it. And especially as far as the fans go, I think, is there, where do you see the biggest growth? Pro sports, college sports? Do you see youth and
Oh,
high
easy
school
college,
sports?
easy college. And you can probably say high school sports, but I say if I had to rank it, it would be college sports is going to have a crazy peak, high school sports the same, and then underneath that, women's flag football.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like,
because it's visible, it's fast, it's exciting, it's technique, it's skill behind. So like people can get behind this. Oh, you know what? This is something that can grow. And I'm hearing there's a lot of invested dollars that's going to be geared toward that market of flag football for the woman, and specifically. I wouldn't be surprised if that sport surpasses WNBA in 7 years, as far as the popular sport for women.
right. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I like the prediction. I like it a lot. Is speaking to the kind of the investment side you mentioned in September, I think you said you guys got a $58 million valuation. Is that so? Maybe obviously without going into too many details, but a lot of the founders and entrepreneurs are interested in kind of what that process looks like.
Yeah.
What assets are being valued. Kind of speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, so when you are pre-revenue, pre-launch, you need to get a third-party investment bank to do a financial analysis and kind of like an appraisal on your company, based upon your town, total market, your moat, any patents in place, your revenue features that you're bringing to market, and then that they use an EBITDA formula that calculates what you should be making at launch, and then they give that, and then they discount it too. So it's not like super weighted; it's heavily discounted, heavily scrutinized, and then from there you have something that you can walk into an investment and say, "Hey, I did get a valuation. I did do the work. I did put the money into getting the valuation." They run between 7 and 10K. So that's like that. Oh, you did your own due diligence. You're not just walking in stating a number out of thin air that you think because it's your company. You've actually got somebody who's unbiased to do the valuation. So it works. How important it is, investors going to give you their own value if they're investing. So, but it's good to have because it shows your readiness.
Yeah, for sure. And as far as the readiness, what did that feel like coming out of that with the valuation, knowing where, obviously your dreams and aspirations, but then also having a third party kind of, agree with essentially what you're building.
It's kind of like I'm very not Kobe-ish, but I had like the Kobe mindset, like, the job's not done. It's cool. All right, cool. All right, great. The job been done. The goal is to get this to a unicorn status, to be a top five social media platform within 3 to 5 years, and to make Fanchize a household name. So we got a long way to go.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love that. It's that classic interview when Kobe's up. What is it like 3-1 or 2-1? Yeah, the
Yeah,
job is
job's
finished.
not done. It's okay. Got more work to do.
I love it. I love it. Is that so? Speaking to kind of the entrepreneurs and other business, leaders and whatnot, but would that be, like year one key piece of advice for builders in sports?
I would say year one builders, I would say get your team together. Team is very important. You want to make sure that when you bring on people, you don't bring on people too early because you want to make sure that you have jobs for them to do.
Right.
You bring people in, you're like, oh, what are you gonna do again? Oh, they're not ready for you to have you at. Build strategically, but build your team that can bring people into your platform early. And then what happened is take hold and take account of people that you're trying to bring in and get them ready for the launch, and then you build your team around it because the investor is going to look at not your company per se, but who's on your team and what did they do and how they do it, because your skill set may not be something that they would invest in, but somebody on your team would, and that would be the kind of like the missing link and piece to get you from not vested to vested.
I love it. And you mentioned we mentioned a few times, but your company's coming out the doors in a month or two. But besides that, what's I guess where you headed? What's next for Fanchize? What do you guys got going?
Well, we're definitely going to be targeting the player side too. We're burning the candle on both ends, from the avid casual sports fans to the high school kids who just a freshman all the way to a fifth year senior in college. So we're going to be ramping up our NIL side. We're going to be onboarding quite a few high schools to join Fanchize in a sense of having their athletes use our NIL evaluation tool, get their evaluation report so when they go to the visits, they can see what there were. The GM who's negotiating NILs, they can see it, and they can kind of be on the same, some type of same page. So our goal right now is just to really just enhance that side and build our network. I feel like the more vendors, sports bars, apparel stores that we have in the franchise network, the more valuable the contract would be because now they'll have a list of vendors they can go to locally when they travel that they can go say, hey, I have a place to go to that I can watch the game, get rewarded, or go buy a hat or jersey and get rewarded and get incentivized to go there as well. Not just randomly paying for something just because you can and have no choice.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I would be curious. What are your thoughts on the current landscape of NIL and college sports? A little off topic, but I'd be
Well, I have
interested.
a I have a son playing, so
Yeah.
for me, it's like I love it. I think they should get paid. It's a multi billion dollar company, so yes, you're making a lot of revenue. Pay the kids. I think it's smart. I don't know which former coach said it, maybe Saban, but I think one of the coaches was stating that just have it where you can only transfer once to limit the active portal stuff. I think the portal's too active. I feel like that should be a little more managed. If you want to transfer once, okay, no problem. But being like a 1 year, hired assassin per year is kind of too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. The 1 year rentals where kids going to 4 or 5 schools and let
Yeah.
alone, I mean, I can't even get my transcript from one of the schools I went to. Imagine trying to get 8 transcripts from the school and not even
Yeah.
graduating. It kind of defeats the whole purpose,
Yeah.
in my view. And I think it kind of kills high school recruiting as well. I mean,
Oh yeah, for
you
sure.
know,
Yeah, like now the college, not definitely the big college. The big colleges are like, well, why go get a freshman that we're going to probably spend money on
yeah.
and invest time and energy and money to feed them to get them big enough when we can just go get a ready-made kid out of the portal who's already like the size and frame. So I do get that part. I can see that being impactful. So like, yeah, it's like it can kill high school recruiting, but now there's more opportunities too now, right? So all the big time 5 stars going to these schools that are the Ohio States, the Oregons. Now you're gonna see a 5 star going to like a Indiana or Kentucky or any other school because the big schools are entering is shopping in the portal, leaving room for the other schools to get the 5 stars.
Good point. It's diversified the talent across
Hmm.
the landscape, not just the same 5 schools we see every year. So that is good to see. But getting back on track here with franchise. So where can the listeners and viewers find franchise on the internet and
You
whatnot?
can go to franchise.com. We have a landing page. We have a wait list to join the app. Right now, we already at over 350,000 fans who join the wait list. So the more people join the wait list, the better because you have opportunity to get early access to the app. We're on Crunchbase. We're on all social media handles, Instagram, franchiseinc.com, at Ventures Inc. So yeah, we're on all socials and yeah, join the wait list.
Perfect. Well, yeah, we'll do it. And did you go? I think I saw you at some conferences or whatnot. Are you going to a few more of
Yeah.
those?
Yeah, I was at Soccer Eggs. My CMO was in an event in Portugal. We will be at Peak in Las Vegas in April. We went to Barcelona, Spain, met with FC Barcelona team and the president and trying to see what we can do with them. So yeah, we're been very busy to say the least.
Yep, yep. I like it getting out there and getting in front of the public. Awesome. So that's for any listeners and viewers, if you're there, I'm sure Jeff will connect with you. But if not, go visit those sites. Before we go, Jeff, give us some, I guess, last minute advice, cautionary tales. I'll let you have the floor.
I would say that stop giving your loyalty away for free. Your value as a fan is way beyond what you can even think about. And we're gonna eventually give the platform where you can monetize that fanship, draw your line in the sand, choose your team, get rewarded, build your fan score, and we have some exciting features that can accompany that as well. And are you a real fan? Are you able to prove it on franchise?
I love it. Perfect. Well, thanks, Jeff, for jumping on. We appreciate it. We're looking forward to watching the journey as you guys continue to build that franchise and roll it out here in
Yes.
the next month or two. So, like I said, for the listeners and viewers, make sure to go check out Franchise, stay up to date, show your true fanhood, as Jeff was as mentioning. And this has been another episode of the Constant Sports Podcast. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, Connor. Bye.
Yep.